Okay, so it's still the Christmas season, which for us has been confusing because we've been getting ahead with our recordings. But
I know.
Now it's finally kind of overlapping, and I want to show you the fruits of your very generous gift. Listeners, I'll see if I remember to post a picture of this. No promises. But Bridget sent me a gift that it's not a Christmas gift. This was a just cuz gift. It's a little Santa hat and scarf for my my Zero, the dog from Nightmare Before Christmas lamp. So now I don't have to put it away with the Halloween stuff because he has a Christmas hat on.
He's got a pumpkin on his nose and a hat and a scarf.
So cute.
Wow.
I know.
I love it.
So now he'll stay out for now.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Do you have any Christmas decorations up yet?
I did my outside. It's not totally done, but I have that like cement turtle that I put the hat and scarf on.
It's like a life-size giant tortoise, by the way. Like you say turtle, and I think everyone's like, "Oh, that's cute," and you're like, "Nuh-uh, it's big." And I could take a ride on that.
The name of it is Old Mr. Krusty. Like that was what they named it. So we make sure Old Mr. Krusty is all warm. And I have some stuff in the house, but we put up 4 stockings, Kate.
Oh my God. Is one of them small or that's
no,
too much?
They're all like whatever, but it was just like, oh man, we went from 3 to 4. Like, yeah, but I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to decorate, right?
I got some fun gifts. Well, for you and Penny, but there's a theme for the gifts for Mo. And they just came.
Is it airplanes? Because that's all everybody gets him.
Maybe. I'm not saying. It'll be a surprise.
Oh, it's so good.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, sisters who've seen it.
Hello!
Hello there.
Ho, ho, ho.
He did like the weird what was the Home Improvement where he was like I can't even do it.
I didn't even know how to write that note down. I was like grunt noises, Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, oh my God. Alright, well, let me introduce ourselves because we are not Tim Allen or from Home Improvement yet. Or ever.
Ooh.
I don't remember if that show was good, so we'll say never. So, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where 2 sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And
a bizarre twist of fate transforms a divorced dad into the new Santa with a clause.
With an E on the clause. Wow, I'm glad you jumped in with that because despite how many quotes I wrote down for a multitude of reasons, I couldn't think of squat just now. Couldn't think of squat.
That little clause, which we'll get into, that turned him into Santa. How many things do you fill out online that you're like, yeah, I accept, I'm signing? I mean, do we like own Google at this point if it's the same clause theory as this movie?
Yeah, I'm not sure that would hold up in Christmas court, if I'm being honest, but it's fine. Who knows? So, Bridge, what's our movie this week?
What's our movie? You're right. Our movie is The Santa Claus with an E, 1994, starring Tim Allen.
Tim Allen played himself, I think.
100,000%. And I don't know. Okay, when we talked last time, you were like, oh boy, Bridge, have you seen this in a while? And I was like, oh boy. I didn't think it was that bad.
It's not bad.
Oh,
but
okay.
There are kind of like sad, dark adult themes. Like the whole subplot with like the parents and like...
Oh, yeah.
Like that, I was like, oh, okay. Like it's just... it hits different because I'm like, God damn, if I had a kid in my school who thought Santa was real to that degree, like, I'd be seeing them for counseling. And like, what do I say? Tim Allen's not real. He's just a nightmare in your dreams. Like, I don't know.
You just make Charlie cry.
I would.
Wow.
So I probably wouldn't do it that way, but...
Wow, Kate.
Anyway.
Who's doing this synopsis, me or you?
It's you!
It's me! Well, we are in 1994 present day, starting out very much like the holiday at a Christmas party.
That's what I thought of.
And the two top salespeople are Tim Allen and some other lady for, they sell toys, and the hot toy that year was the Jolly Do-It-All-For-You Dolly.
That's the dumbest name ever, but it's fucking fine.
I was like, what are we selling? Then you learn very quickly that he is kind of this like deadbeat dad because he's late and he's lying about traffic, and I'm just like, you're the worst to go see your kid on Christmas Eve. So he pulls up and his kid is, and I'm going to need your help on this, how old?
I would guess like 7 or 8.
Okay.
Leaning more towards like 7.
He's like 3 ninjas. Tum-tum.
Tum-tum, yes.
He's a tum-tum.
He actually, they have the same haircut, I believe.
Oh my God.
That's a 90s cut. Yep.
Every middle school boy and younger had the mushroom bowl cut.
Yeah, we love a good mushroom cut. Will that come back in style anytime soon? Because I don't think I'm ready.
The mom basically had a similar bowl cut, but hers was grown out a little bit.
Yeah.
And we have, who is the Reginald, or what's his name?
Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold.
Oh my God.
Judge
we just
Reinhold.
had him in Gremlins too.
Oh yeah, as the stepdad. And basically the dynamic is the kid doesn't like love hanging out with his dad, Tim Allen, because he just is kind of like the worst, you know? He doesn't really plan anything. He doesn't have presents ready on Christmas Eve. He burns the dinner. I mean, he's just a hot freaking mess.
Yep.
And the parents, the mom seems to be very kind of like normal, and the stepdad is a psychologist, not a doctor.
Psychiatrist.
I was like, or psychiatrist. And I was like, not a doctor. I'm like, oh, it's a doctor.
I mean, it's a doctor. They prescribe medication. And, so, yeah.
But that comes into play later. So, Tim Allen, on the night of Christmas Eve, reads him a book. They go to bed. It's a Santa Night Before Christmas book, not to be confused with our episode, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I was like, did we read that book? Okay. Got it. Okay.
So, I'm obviously crushing it as Katie falls asleep to this. And they hear some shit on the roof. And the kid's like, oh, damn, that's from the book, Dad. Like, it's Santa. Let's go. And they all run out of their underwear, which I think is very strange. But they do. Tim Allen's like, oh, snap. There is somebody on the roof. What's happening? He yells and pretty much kills Santa Claus.
Yeah. There's no other way to say it.
He killed Santa Claus.
There's a murder that takes place in this
This is not a
Disney
horror
movie. No.
But this starts out early, and Santa falls off the roof. We all just accept it and giggle about it. And then he takes out what he's trying to find as his wallet, because he assumes this is a normal person, and the kid is like, that's Santa Claus. And there's this card, and the card has this very small font clause that nobody actually read.
Nope.
And basically, it is this contract, okay? It's a contract that says, if you put on the suit, and if you basically decide to be Santa, you're Santa.
Even if you don't decide to be Santa, you're still Santa.
You're Santa. So be careful what you sign, people. Be careful what cards you take. Be careful what clothes you put on. I don't know. It's scary out there.
Everything around you.
Be afraid of everything.
You will get into a legally binding contract.
So basically, he does not realize this. And I think this is interesting premise, is there's no one Santa Claus in the world. Apparently, it just keeps rotating depending on who falls off your roof and dies.
Yeah.
So like, guys, you could be Santa.
Wow.
Like if you hear something at night and you're like, man, I always wanted to be Santa, you can just push him off the roof and be Santa.
Easy.
All right, I've lost the plot. Hold on. Okay, I'm getting back.
Okay, well,
I'm getting back.
We got Tim Allen is now Santa, even though he doesn't know he's Santa. So we're there.
So you have the endless, the kid is the believer, Tim Allen isn't the believer. So somehow there's a ladder that appears out of nowhere, and then they all just climb up on the roof like that's safe. And all of a sudden there's a bunch of reindeer and a sleigh, and the kid's like, hot damn, you're Santa. And Tim Allen's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Santa!
And then all of a sudden he just starts to be Santa because the kid is like, come on, Dad, you don't do anything I like, you're the worst. And Tim Allen's like, oh, fine. And then he just is Santa for Christmas, which like... Yes. I mean, he goes down chimneys for houses that don't have chimneys. He answers all these big questions of how Santa is fat, but somehow gets down there. And we just see magic. We see Christmas magic.
It is a lot of Christmas magic.
Then we end up in the North Pole. And that was a very interesting thing because all of the elves are children.
Yeah.
That was a little interesting.
But like
choice.
they're old.
They're like centuries old, but they're like children.
But like they don't grow facial hair yet.
Yeah, that's
Except
weird.
maybe Bernard. I don't know why he was like the teenager child, and there was no other ones like that. So
it made no sense. I don't know.
He also had dreadlocks? We'll talk about it. Okay.
Wow, he was a lot. So they get to the North Pole and they're like, what's happening? I'm confused. Tim Allen still thinks he's basically in a dream. And then he gets this whole thing explained of like, you are Santa, but don't worry. You get 11 months off and then you got to come back for when the holidays are ready and then you got your big day. So all of a sudden they wake up in the house and Tim Allen's like, that was a wild dream.
Woo!
But Charlie, the son, is like, you're Santa. This was the coolest night of my entire life. My deadbeat dad has finally done something awesome, and I will now be obsessed with it forever. And the kid does not stop. The kid is like, my dad's Santa. Da ba ba. I got a globe. Ba ba ba. Ba da ba ba ba. Okay. So the parents start to get nervous because prior to this, they were like, hey, we don't know if he believes in it anymore. Blah blah blah. And so the kid's going on and on and on. This would be fine if then Tim Allen like was a normal person, but he literally starts turning into Santa Claus.
He does.
He really does. So he gets the big gut. He gets really big and fat and jolly. And he grows white hair. He grows a giant beard. He shaves it. And 2 seconds later, the giant beard comes back. And he is turning into Santa Claus. And everyone's like, bro, what's happening? Now, the parents are thinking, you're taking this so extreme because you want your kid to like you. And this is the dark part.
This is the dark part that I'm like, eh.
They take away custody because they think he got so extra.
Horrible.
And horrible. And they're just ruining this kid's mental health and blah, 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 blah. But guess what? 11 months goes by pretty quickly and he's ready for Christmas and he is still not believing until the final hour, which to be honest, I don't know how you don't believe. You literally look like Santa Claus in 11 months of your life. Your body just decided to make you Santa Claus, but whatever. And the kid convinces him last minute, you're Santa. He somehow remembers Christmas magic. And then he just goes on and is Santa for the night. And at the same time, because it has gotten so extreme with the parents, Charlie is like, hell yeah, I've been prepping for this all freaking year, Dad. Let's do this. The parents think that he kidnaps the kid, so they get the cops involved. And now it's like a big heist. And all these cops, which in historically the movies we watch, cops on Christmas Eve are not cops. They're drunk, and there's 3 of them. In this town, there's like 50.
There's a lot, and they might still be drunk, and it kind of becomes like the fugitive of Santa Claus.
My God. It's so right. It is the fugitive.
Very intense.
They are after him. It is crazy, and, you know, very wholesomely, Charlie's like, let's go to Mom and, you know, Neil's house, and let's check this out. And don't worry, because the cops literally arrest him and, like, take him to jail.
In front of crying children. So figure out how you feel about that, because what?
Now that I'm, like, saying this plot, I'm, like, tired. This is very long. Okay, so then he's in jail, and the North Pole gets a heads up, and the North Pole's like, oh snap, we gotta do our Christmas magic, and that is the funniest freaking Bob scene ever. I cannot wait to go through that with you. It is so ridiculous. Flying elves come in like a Marvel squad. They break him out of jail through, you know what it is, folks? Ready? Tinsel. Tinsel. Don't throw away your tinsel if you get stuck in jail. It's magic.
It's fucking kryptonite.
So then he gets out, and everyone's like, hot damn, how'd he get out, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, I don't know, he's crazy, he's lost his mind. And then all of a sudden they start to see reindeer and a sled and him flying, and then they all believe him, and the cops are like, well, what do you know? He is Santa. And then everyone just acts normal.
Yeah, and then I don't even know what day
what did
ends on.
I literally was like, how not to do a synopsis was what I just did. So
You pulled like me when I did Jurassic Park a little bit. Not a lot of bit, but a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay.
I'm so pregnant, everything is like a lot of breathing, so I'm like, whoo, this is a plot.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out how to describe how this movie made me feel when I was watching it, and I think the best way I can describe it on a global scale is I felt like I was drunk, but like the different emotions you have when you're drunk, where you're like, it's fucking stupid, and then other times you're like, wow, Christmas magic, and then the other times where you're like, oh, Santa's arrested. Everyone's sad. So maybe just a little more specific. It was like Christmas drunk.
Ooh,
is that just me or any other listeners experience the Christmas drunk where you're like, this is a long fucking day with my family, so there's a lot of wine happening.
A very long day, and you're and when you get to the Christmas drunk, it's like it could go one or two ways, and
I went
good
all the way
and it's gone bad
movie
for me.
Because, yeah, it was all over. So, all right, well, let's get into it.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. And, I mean, we already talked about the holiday party, and we talked about how it's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not Kate Winslet. It is... And let me tell you what he did, though, is when they were like, hey, here's our top salespeople.
Oh.
And he pulls a Kanye West and just steals the microphone.
Yeah.
From Susan Kelly. What'd she do?
I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm Scott Calvin, and I made a toy, too. Anyway, fuck our families. Happy holiday. Because he says something weird where he's like, haha, our families aren't here. Everything's great now. And you're like, wait, what do you mean?
He was like, our families aren't here, and boss, I see your wife visit because the secretary's on your lap.
Yeah.
What corporate part? This is literally like when Love Actually decided to have a holiday party with naked people and Santa Claus hats like on their butts.
Yeah.
But you had to establish like he's the worst, right? So you're like, well, he's already Tim Allen, so I mean
Yeah, he really is the worst for most of this beginning part. And there's kind of these scenes, too, where, yes, he's, like, lying to the mom and is like, oh, there's traffic, honk, honk. But then you see these scenes of, like, little Christmas scenery, so you're like, wow, Christmas magic. And they're singing, like, Carol the Bells. And did you notice that they were also, for no reason, in these scenes where it was, like, a bunch of random people in the town, they would be, like, secret little elf children? Did you notice this?
I didn't understand it.
Why aren't they working? Were they just escaping from Bernard's wrath? Because I get that. It was weird.
It made you think like, oh, is he meant to be Santa? And these elves like, no. And they're like kind of bouncing around town. But they didn't because the guy just tripped off the roof.
Hold on. I want to run with this conspiracy theory. Do you think the elves like set up like a secret invisible wire that Santa then tripped on?
The existing Santa?
On his roof because they were like, we're fucking over this guy. We gotta get Tim Allen in here. Kid's got a coconut head. Let's do it. Oh my God, Bridget. We're gonna put that on the internet. That's canon. Yep.
As Katie would say, trademark.
Trademark.
We don't know what it means.
To the Santa Claus where it's a dark, film about how the original Santa Claus was a dick and we wanted to kill him.
We're in the studio meeting room. We're like, okay, imagine Lost Boys. Imagine Peter Pan. Imagine The Fugitive. Imagine Tim Allen, the Santa Claus. Bring it together. Christmas drunk. You ever been Christmas drunk?
We've got elves in their own Marvel Cinematic Universe with jetpacks. Stay with me now. Here we go.
Okay, they're children, but they're not young.
But one of them is old, but also child, but dreadlocks. But he's white.
All white.
Oh God. It's just gonna keep going.
Oh God, it's so bad. Okay.
All right, so we don't know. There's elves. Who the fuck knows?
God.
I don't fucking know.
But we do. Okay, I do feel really bad for Charlie, who is
God.
Like he was so sad. He's like, wow, I have to spend Christmas Eve with my like shitty dad, and I'm 7. I already know that. I'm like, oh, this is sad. And why was that a 90s thing to be like a shitty dad, and that made you funny? I'm like,
I don't know.
I hate that.
He was so so rude too. Like a lot of things he said, it was like, I think the movie was like, that's a joke. But like, again, as an adult, I'm like, like maybe don't say that, especially like in front of your kid and to someone that the kid loves. And like, you're just perpetuating like uncomfortable emotions. And Charlie even says, he's like, why do you guys always have to fight? And I was like, yeah, guys, why the fuck? What, y'all can't fight in the bathroom secretly over the phone? You gotta do it in front of him? Over it.
Well, and they were fighting about like, there's no Santa. And he's like, what do you mean there's no Santa? And I'm like, everyone can hear. We can all hear you.
Yes.
We're in the other room.
Charlie,
do you remember that? Like,
losing my belief in Santa? Do I?
No,
I do.
No.
Oh, you don't want to hear about it? Okay, fine.
Well, Kate, if you want to share,
do we want to open up?
Did you
the
not
trauma,
get your wiener whistle as a kid?
That fucking plot. I cannot with that. My God.
No, I was gonna say, in our old house, the way the kitchen was designed is our parents, at the end of every night, they would always like just chit chat, and we always heard it. Do you remember? Like literally, like the way the sound traveled to our bedrooms, you could hear every single thing, and they always thought it was like so stealth. And you're like, what is wrong with you?
It's still like that because everything is loud in that house all the time, every day.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
but don't worry because the turkey's on fire.
Oh yeah, homeboy is like, wow, it takes 4 hours to cook a turkey. Yeah, why didn't you defrost it better? Stupid idiot.
Oh my God, the worst.
Then we end up at Denny's.
But not the Denny's you think. Like, I felt like the diner Denny's with pancakes. I was confused. It's like the local town thing. I don't know.
I'm not really sure, but all I know is that there were other single dads with other sad children of divorced parents who are also having a horrible night. And all I could think of, this was the Christmas drunk where I'm getting like melancholy. And I'm like, well, you know what? This is bullshit. These little kids didn't ask for this. They just try to have a magical evening. And their parent is ignorant and can't cook a fucking turkey like an adult. And they ruin everything for the children.
And they're just mushroom haircuts everywhere, you know?
Never-ending bowl cut.
But you're right. It just had this like sad and depressed.
And again, it was supposed to be like, ha, isn't this funny? And I was like, I mean, no.
No, it's not.
This kid's really sad and everything's wrong. And I don't like to laugh at children's, sad times, but
well,
okay.
The only thing that brought you out of that was like, he was reading him like a bedtime story about like Christmas stuff. And I thought, that's fun. That seems appropriate. And the kid's tucked in and he's asking questions about like, how does Santa get down the chimney and this and that. And honestly, it was quite educational because it's really like a live and learn, it's an interactive book. And so I was like, this is very, I don't know, how do reindeers fly, like all this. But again, Tim Allen's just such a dick that he's giving him like
rude.
Crappy answers and he's the worst.
And then he's like, ugh, go to sleep already, God. And I'm like, ew, you're so annoying. Where the fuck is Santa? Let's toss him off the roof already, because I'm over it.
And don't worry, because you hear a little clatter.
The clatter.
Wow.
Which then turns into a ladder.
But nothing's the matter?
But... But where is my poo-poo platter of food for having to sit and watch this? Okay.
But don't worry, you won't get sadder, because I'll tell you.
Debatable.
What's the matter? Okay.
And Charlie is the one who hears this, and then he wakes up Tim Allen, and then Tim Allen also hears it, so he runs out in his underwear.
He did not look cold. That looked like a hot summer day with fake snow, and I was like, dude, he's not even like shivering.
Yeah. And then he very quickly sees Santa, but I gotta say, I mean, we don't really get a good look at what Santa looks like, aside from what you know of Santa, where it's like, oh, okay, he's got the red suit, he's got the beard, he's got the hat, whatever. We don't like see his face or really, I don't know much, because he literally, the guy's like, hey, you! And then that's where Santa trips over the invisible wire that the elves laid out, because it's been an assassination plot for the last 11 months. And then he falls off the roof, and Tim Allen has no reaction.
No reaction. No appropriate reaction.
Very calm to this murder that just took place, because I'm classifying it as a murder.
I'd even say that Charlie had a weird reaction. Charlie's like, hey, is that Santa? And not like there's someone dead on the front lawn.
Yeah, everyone was a little too calm for me. Man is laying in the snow. He also had like an arm like sticking out. Like, I'm like, that guy's not breathing, everyone. Does anyone want to check on him? And instead Tim Allen's like, just lay there. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay, well.
But this is the moment. This is the contract.
Yeah, so he gets his card, and all it says is, put on my suit and the reindeer will know what to do. And then that's where they discover there's reindeer. And then that's where there's a ladder.
Basically, Tim Allen was like, Charlie, stay inside. And then Charlie runs outside. And then he's like, Charlie, don't do anything. And then Charlie does stuff. And he's like, Charlie, don't go up the ladder. And then Charlie goes up the ladder. And then he just starts hanging out with the reindeer. And Comet seems to be like the cool reindeer in this movie, right? Screw Rudolph.
He's cool, but I don't like to look at him because he's a little creepy puppet reindeer. But
he's a little creepy.
I get the intent. Yeah, Charlie goes right in for the reindeer kisses. I was like, we don't know if there's vaccines. We gotta be careful in these times, Charlie. Please be a little more hesitant with your kisses.
Or just don't be on the roof where someone just fell off and died.
Yeah, that's actually probably the more important
but you know what?
lesson.
It's fine because he's sitting out there and Charlie's like, Dad, just put on the suit. Dad, why won't you do anything I want?
Hashtag guilt trip.
The hammer.
Damn. Yeah, and see, if you didn't fucking bring him to Denny's, you wouldn't have gotten that. Tim
Allen, all you had to do is have a turkey cooked. You just screwed this shit up.
Gotta defrost turkeys, and then you don't become Santa. What can you say?
You should. Yeah. I'll tell you, but what happens? Oh, we make a Disney joke about the cable company.
I wrote that. We're getting the Disney Channel now. Merry Christmas. And I wrote, woof.
Boo.
Lame.
You should automatically lose a rating when a dumb joke like that has to be in.
There was another in joke made later in the movie.
That is very Space Jam when Michael Jordan or who's the guy Michael Jordan's assistant. It's like Nike weenies. He just keeps naming brands.
Yeah, big bag on the way. Oh no, it's so true. It's so true. Well, this is where he's like, fine, I'll put on this stupid suit, but then he like makes lame jokes the whole time, but then he still does it, so I don't get it. And then he immediately starts flying in the air via bag, which, sure, bag flying. And then he goes down the chimney, and then he, I don't know, is like, I guess I'll put presents out. But he complains all the time, but he puts presents out. And Bridge, what was the doggy we saw?
It was a Rottweiler.
Which I would like to see the movie where Rottweilers are not used as the scary Christmas dog, because we have the same thing with Snot in National Lampoon's A Christmas Story.
It happens a lot. Like, they put a lot of Rottweilers in these movies to, like, scare people. And I don't know, Kate, meeting your Rottweiler Barry's like this little mush.
He's a smush mush. If I was Tim Allen and I saw a Rottweiler, I'd be like, woo! And then I would give him a little doggy bone from my Santa bag, because why the fuck didn't you give the dog a present? Santa, all right?
Listeners,
dogs are people too.
Listeners, Katie, since she was a little bebe, has always gotten all the dogs presents.
They need
And does that not tell you how wonderful of a person she is? Every dog gets a present around Katie. So, Katie, maybe you could be the Santa, like, dog claws.
Oh my god!
And
what would that be?
And you ignore all the kids. They get no presents. You just only give the dog presents. This is our movie.
This is the movie. This is the movie. This is the new Christmas classic. Oh my god. Oh, and then I have to kill, like, someone who sucks.
Oh my god,
to become the new dog Santa Claus.
Oh my god.
I can't. There was a movie called Santa Paws, and it was not great, but I watched it, and it's not that plot. It's different.
Wow.
So our plot is unique, and I love it. Trademark.
All right, well, this movie is so long, and we're already pretty far, so we gotta get flying as fast as these reindeer.
No. All right, so let's skip over whatever. He basically just Santa Clauses the whole fucking night, even though he's like, what's happening? But I'm like, Tim Allen, you keep, like, doing it. Like, when
he's the complainy, like, employee, but, I mean, I guess this is how he became, like, a top salesman. He gets the job done. So,
weird.
You know.
And then, okay, now we get to the North Pole. And this part...
Okay, you ready for my line?
Okay, yes.
Bernard is the Daria of elves.
Okay, amazing. That is very true. 2, I thought it was a little weird where they roll up, the reindeer are like, bye-bye, fuckers, and they leave them.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, uh-oh, now we're stranded in the snow. And an elf, instead of like walking up, be like, hey guys, let me just explain what's happening. Welcome, welcome. This guy walks up, no words. And there's weird angelic elf music that starts, and literally Tim Allen and the kid are like, and they're like looking around, and I was like, I'm looking around. This is me. This is where the drunk Christmas moment where you're like, what's that? Who was that? Who was singing? Who did that? That was this part. And then somehow that brings them into the toy elf part of the North Pole. I don't know.
Okay, but didn't you love that it had like 90s technology and gadgets everywhere?
Yeah.
So the North Pole thing like pops up, and then the elf like presses a button, and it looks like the oldest cell phone you'd ever seen.
It looked like a beeper. I was like, whose beeper is that?
This is, if like a Gen Z, really young person watched this, they would laugh so hard at all the little electronics.
Yeah.
Because
they'd be like, why are there buttons?
They tried to put so much of that in this movie, and it ages terribly.
No.
But we get down there, and oof, we meet everybody. We meet a lot of children, and it's creepy.
Yes, so Bernard is the head elf, I believe, is his official title. I think his roles and responsibilities include yelling at other elves for not working, him not working, and then telling Santa what he has to do. So really, he kind of sounds like a manager that, like, doesn't have experience, but his dad, like, gave him the job.
I mean...
And whereas his dad, was he also murdered by the elves?
Ooh.
On the rooftop? Who knows?
Maybe, okay, in our movie, maybe Bernard loved the old Santa, and all the elves hated the old Santa, and so he was all salty when Tim Allen shows up, because he's like, oh, these are part of the rules I made that I didn't think anyone would use, because I wrote the clause.
I wrote the clause. He literally goes from, like, 0 to 100. Like,
he screamed at one point.
Break. No.
He screamed, and he was like, you're due back here for Thanksgiving, so you have 11 months.
Yeah.
And then I actually wrote down, I was like, that sounds like an awesome job.
Honestly, yeah. Like, you work 1 month of the year, I would fucking love that. Please
give me a white beard, a white hair, and a big old belly, and I get to just, like, be Santa for one day.
And I get free cookies? Where's the bad part? I don't see it.
It sounds amazing. And you go to the doctor, and you got a clean bill of health? I mean, dream.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, so we meet all these weird elves. Honestly, we could skip this part, because Judy makes me uncomfortable, because Tim Allen makes a really bad joke about, like, dating this.
Says you look great for your age.
I hated it.
Yeah. I do want to just point out one part, because this was another in-joke where Bernard is, like, monologuing about Santa and legalities and nobody cares. And in the background, Tim Allen takes a toy tool belt, pretends to try it on, and then shakes his head. Is like, and that's the joke. So.
Wow.
Did you guys laugh at that?
Wow, I missed that. I blacked it out.
It's for the best. So, anyway, so now we wake up, and he's like, okay, it's Christmas, and then Charlie's like, yippee, it's Christmas, yay, but then Charlie doesn't even have any fucking time to open his gifts, because his mom is like, hello, I'm here to save you, and then he's like, oh my god, Mom, Dad is Santa, hooray, and then she's like, haha, good one, what? And this is where the snowball of trauma.
It gets worse and worse and worse, and Tim Allen, to his credit, was like, that was a weird dream. And I was like, you know what? I believe that. I believe that was all a weird dream. But he's like, wow, I got some nice PJs. I don't know how I did this.
I wish I got PJs for my dream. Damn.
For real.
Yeah. So, yeah, the mom is like, okay, well, that's weird. And then Neil is like, I don't like it. Why'd you do it? And Charlie just keeps monologuing about, Santa. And then we cut immediately to a scene of career day. And this was a great scene.
Okay, I gotta tell you too, this movie, like, it was very Tarantino, right? It got right into action where you're like, kid, dad Santa, North Pole. And then we come back and we're like, oh my god, we still have like 2/3 of this movie left.
Yeah.
And we lived a whole movie. And so where do we end up? We end up at career day. And you're like, I don't know what is happening now.
This teacher was amazing. She was on the same level as Miss Lippy from Billy Madison, because I felt like she was just like like had smoked doobie before the children came that morning.
Her name is Mary Gross, by the way.
The teacher or the actress?
The actress is Mary Gross, and the teacher is Miss Daniels.
Okay.
She did Saturday Night Live for a bit, and like...
Well, that's why she was so funny. Okay, well, we love that. So, Charlie invites all of his 3 parents, which I don't know if we have time, Charlie. Like, I feel like the requirement is, like, probably 1, but, like, you're showing off a little, but, like, fucking fine. So then it's his turn, and he's like, I want, like, Dad to go first. And Neil has a great line where he goes, well, Charlie, that's how you feel. And I was like, is that how I sound? God damn it. Okay. And so Tim Allen gets to go up, and Tim Allen's like, hey, guys, I make toys. And then Charlie's like, hey, Santa Claus. And then it's awkward.
It's, as you would say, Aukies. It's super Aukies.
Super Aukies, because Tim Allen's like, no, I just do toys and watch my boss make out with the secretary. And then Charlie's like, no, there's Santa and Bernard, and look at this snow globe. And nobody questions a fucking snow globe, by the way. We're all just accepting he has this very expensive looking snow globe. I don't know.
Charlie has a well thought out thesis, okay? He creates his points. He says how reindeers fly, how they get down the chimney, how Santa's transition from one Santa to another. Where did he get the snow globe? He's really like giving good arguments, and nobody cares. And Bobby in the class calls him stupid and uses the word elves. And then, did you get that joke?
We call them little people. It's like, oh dear.
Like, what?
But Bobby also points out how absurd this plot is, because he literally goes, so let me get this straight. If I want to be Santa, all I gotta do is push you off a roof. And then nobody answers that, because we gotta cut to the next scene, because the movie doesn't have a retort to that.
Disney was like, to get ahead of this, we should add it in the movie. Bobby?
I don't even know. So, but then for whatever reason, they're like, we gotta involve the principal.
Oh
because
my God.
That makes sense, even though it doesn't make sense because it has nothing to do with principal or school. It has familial things, so why? It was weird. It was just another scene to see Tim Allen being rude to everybody and making bad jokes.
Yeah.
And then it just continues. Charlie is like, Dad, you're in denial. It's fine. I learned it from Neil.
I mean, Charlie was parenting Tim Allen the whole movie.
He was, which I hate seeing. It's so sad. And then I just have notes where it's like this literally just continues. And then at some point, Scott, who is Tim Allen, goes to Charlie and he's like, hey, let's keep this Santa thing a secret. Which again, I'm like, I mean, I understand when you did it, but like, I hate when adults tell kids to keep secrets because it's not good. Yeah. But I get it. But like, Disney, don't do it in front of me. Do it over there.
But I mean, he needed a way to say like, Charlie, you gotta like chill on this. And it would have worked, right? It would have worked. But then his appearance changes drastically.
Yes. Yeah.
Drastically. To the point that he rolls up to work with a 45-pound belly that happened in a week in sweatpants, and everyone's like, what's happening? And he sits down and orders all the desserts. And I thought, I'm right there with you, buddy.
If we think of like timeline, like when do we think that started to happen? Like, was it literally in early January, or was this like months past?
I'm gonna say like the January, February, March, because they were trying to come out with a Christmas toy, so I assume they had to like make the toy and then sell the toy, so they had to like do it well in advance, Kate, because typically product development takes at least 11 to 12 months.
Oh, well, that is true. You know all about that. I just didn't, timeline-wise,
I think it was January, February, March. I think he got back, had a little breather, career day. Let's just like give it a month or two, and then whammo, his whole body is like changing.
Well, and then he, like, first of all, I was actually a little impressed with some of that. I guess it was makeup. Because, like, his face did look different, and it didn't look bad. I was like, oh, that's not, like, you're not faking that. Like, there's something on you, and I can't tell what it is, and I thought that was cool. But, everybody's, like, kind of rude to him, and they're like, you ordered a cookie for lunch? I'm like, fuck yeah, we should all order cookies. Why aren't there cookies here right now? Come on, people.
It was fat shaming, but it was the 90s, Kate, so they didn't know anything better.
No. And then I love when the one fucking guy, he's like, we're selling a tank, so our pitch is gonna be Santa drives a tank because we live in America, and that's all we know and breathe is destruction and mayhem. And I don't understand.
And honestly, Tim Allen went crazy because now he's like, this is really how Santa is, and I know the inside scoop, and blah, 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 blah. And this is the stereotype everyone thinks about us, and then we hammer it home with like a freaking Santa on a tank.
Yeah, and I bet that still got made. Anyway, it's fine, because then we cut to a fun kids soccer game where I wrote there's really weird Christmas circus music playing.
I didn't pay attention.
It's just like, whoa, just kids running around rampant, and Tim Allen's there, and some little girl comes up, and she...
Didn't love it.
Sits on his lappy, and he didn't stop it, and I don't like it.
I don't like it.
That's where we call the police, Tim Allen.
And then there was a line of kids waiting to sit on his lap, and he wasn't dressed, and it wasn't Christmas, and I hated it.
And he didn't object, and then the mom and Neil come, and he goes, oh, these kids lined up all by themselves. I don't care! Don't let them sit on you, sir! You're not a seat! Goodness!
And honestly, he came to watch his kid's soccer game, which looked like he was playing for the Big Green, and he didn't pay attention once!
Did look like the Big Green. Yeah, he fucking didn't, and then the parents get freaked out, and they, like, drag Charlie away, and again, I was like, this sucks for Charlie. What the fuck did Charlie do? Like, he didn't do anything wrong. This is so annoying.
I mean, he could have scored a goal, but she just dragged him off the field.
Everyone was just kind of running rampant, but still, it could have happened.
That was when she was like, Scott, I know this Santa thing is like this thing that you bond over because like basically you've been the worst father ever, but changing your physical appearance? And I was like, again, the 90s are like, you've taken it too far.
Well, that's where I was also like, okay, timeline-wise, I feel like that does matter, because if this change happened within like a week, yo, that's crazy. But if it's been like a while and like you guys just don't see each other, people change. Beards grow. We eat cookies. Weight goes up or down or nowhere. Like, why?
Do you remember David Letterman's like timeline where he looked like Santa for a while? Like, shit happens.
I don't, but I believe that. Do you think David Letterman killed Santa? Oh, no.
Wait, we did skip one quick scene that I thought was funny as he goes to the doctor. And Tim Allen's like, well, I don't know, man. I mean, 45 pounds in the week, is it like a hormonal balance or what's happening? And he's like, again, it's the cookies.
Yeah, he's like, we don't need blood tests. No, that's too much writing for me. So, we'll just like say it's the cookies. It's fine.
And he was like running on the treadmill. And I mean, some of it was funny, but it's like getting so extreme. And then, Kate, this is the scene that 1994 did not age well because he gets a delivery. And Kate, what are they?
Oh, the list?
He gets like 100 Amazon boxes filled with paper in 1994. And I'm like, whoa, you're telling me we got Christmas magic this whole movie. We gotta get the FedEx to drop off 100 physical boxes of paper. We don't have email. We don't have Christmas magic. What?
No, we have pollution and the murder of trees as well. There were a lot of tree Santa Clauses we also had to murder to get here. So, Merry Christmas.
I can't. That was so weird. I thought that was so weird. I was like, Mary's generation and younger would be like, those are boxes of paper? What? Oh my god.
And I love when he asks that question about the list where he's like, how am I gonna know who's naughty or nice? And Bernard's answer is, you'll know. And I was like, but does he know? And also, how do we find out? And also, what
am I
nice? These are questions we need answers to.
Aren't the Rottweilers nice?
What about the woo-woo? He was good. He was a good boy. He protected the house. Give him a bone.
My. And then what the hell happens, Kate? So then we just keep seeing him basically giving up on life. He shaves, it comes back. He tries to flirt with women on the street. They call him like old and ugly. I mean, he's just given up, and then the parents get extra, right? Then
this is where the parents are like, so, hey, Charlie, I mean, I know you love your dad, but like, we're not gonna let you see him anymore because of court visitation and legalities. Yippee! Merry Christmas! And okay, I know it's a Disney movie, and I know this wasn't like the main point of the movie because there were other like crazy things happening, but like, if this was like real, right? We would see a scene of Charlie crying hysterically. And they don't do that purposefully because they're like, Christmas! And you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure Charlie's like really fucking sad. But after you find out, like, okay, you're legally not allowed to visit your child, like ever, not even with like someone there as a chaperone. Like you can never, which is like really intense, by the way. But sure. Then Tim Allen busts into their home, and before he busts in, he's staring at them through the window, and they're all having like a happy little dinner, and Charlie's living his best life. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Charlie's sad movie. Don't you dare try to trick me and tell me that Charlie's having a great time right now, because he is fucking sad, okay? I don't want to hear it.
In the Christmas drunk timeline, one family member said something offensive, and then another family member like ganged up on it, and then you have probably our mother pretending everything's fine, and you're sitting there fuming, and that's the Christmas drunk moment. That I'm with you. It was so extreme, and then no one reacted.
No, it was so weird, and he, like I said, he busts into the house, and I'm not even sure why, in all honesty. He was just like sad, walking alone on the street at night, and then he's like, hey guys, I'm here too. And then Charlie's like, oh my god, Dad, hello. And I guess this is Christmas Eve, so then Charlie goes, Dad, you gotta go help those kids. And he's like, what about you, Charlie? And he's like, I'm fine, Dad. And I'm like, again, I call bullshit on this feelings nonsense. Okay, so like then Charlie gives a motivational speech, and yeah, he's like the parent, and he's like, Dad, you gotta believe, don't forget the snow globe. And again, I'm like, who paid for the $500 snow globe? Does any adult want to question it? No? Cool. And this leads Tim Allen to be like, I am Santa. And then who comes in, Bridget?
Oh my god, freaking Bernard with his damn dreads and Neil is like,
dreadlock.
Who's this dude? And Bernard's like, listen, bro, you gotta get going. We got a whole world to go through and give presents to. And we picked Tim Allen, and he's been getting fat and old and a beard all 11 months, so he's ready to go.
And Charlie's like, I want to go too. And then Tim Allen's like, that's a great idea. Let's not tell anyone, because it's illegal. We're breaking laws. Listen, do it. Merry Christmas.
This is very John Travolta.
100%.
Look Who's Talking.
100%.
Christy Allen falls asleep. He's like, let's take Mikey, and we're gonna go gallivant around New York City. In this case, they just decided to go fly in a sleigh with reindeer around the world. And Tim Allen's like, whatever, man, I already lost custody. What else am I gonna do? And he's pretty chill about it.
Well, see, this is the other thing, too, because I'm kind of like, okay, let's think of timeline. Like, this is where drunk, Christmas Katie, or whatever I'm calling it now. This is where I was like, okay, let's
continuum.
Let's lay out, like, I need to write things down and, like, draw out a picture. So, let me get this straight. It's Christmas Eve, I think, right now. And first of all, you were supposed to be back there by Thanksgiving, so you missed your you had one job.
You had the easiest job. You were off for 11 months, and you are late.
Now we procrastinate. Now it's literally the night of. You take your child, you go to the North Pole, and then when they're at the North Pole, they somehow have time to create fireproofing clothes and technology.
My God.
Sleigh upgrades.
This is...
And I don't even know.
Who is my favorite from Black Panther, the sister? What's the sister's name in Black Panther?
Shuri.
They're in Shuri's lab, but it's in it's in 1994, and the technology is terrible, and these elves are going off about how they are like, we've been waiting for you for 11 months. Look at all this cool stuff that's happening. And you're like, well, emotions out the window. I guess in Christmas drunk, this would be when like somebody brings out the cake, and you're just like, yeah! And you forget about everything else that happened.
And then we get another Christmas drunk moment, because I wrote this as a Bob moment. Not a whole scene, but a Bob moment where you see Tim Allen, Charlie, Bernard, and some other elves walking down a hallway to weird music, and they're just kind of casually walking. You're like, that's fun, that's cute. And then here's the Christmas drunk dance move time, because then they go, pose, pose. They do like Wonder Woman arm poses. And like, I don't know about it. I'm gonna give it a C+, honestly.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you start that TikTok dance, I will make you go viral, Kate.
Santa Claus.
But you have to get Bernard's wig and wear it, or else it doesn't.
That is definitely sold somewhere. I guarantee you I could go on Etsy and find a Bernard hat dreadlock wig right now.
Oh my god.
It was
so weird. This is probably when
weird.
I was like slightly dozing off of this movie. But don't worry, because they get back and Tim Allen's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll drop you back out at home. And the parents have already gotten Fugitive Style, the police squad on it. Yeah. Holy moly.
And this is another thing because like, so Charlie is missing and you're seeing cuts of like this fun, like, we're at the North Pole, we're repairing and it's so fun. And then it will cut back to the police being like, okay guys, this is really serious. We have an Amber Alert. There is a child endangerment happening. There is a crazy man. We've got to save him. And you're like, okay, is this, now I'm scared. Now my emotion is over here. And then it's like, dance poses. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're fun again. And then it'll cut back to like the mom and Neil and they're like crying in the corner hanging up a Charlie's stocking. And I'm like, how am I supposed to feel drunk Christmas movie thing?
Well, what? And I think in this moment, this is when you're hanging out with your family and you're like, you know what? Maybe things aren't bad. But then you get a text from like your ex-boyfriend and it's late and you're like, I hate you! But literally, I feel like the worst thing in the world is they're like, this guy thinks he's Santa Claus, and the police officers were like, oh, what an idiot. And then they have to go round up a bunch of Santa Clauses on Christmas Eve, and I thought, honestly, for a serial, like, abductor, this is really, really creeping me out, because, like, it is pretty strategic to be Santa Claus, because you're around kids, and everyone's dressed like Santa, and they kept trying to bring Santas in, and they're like, is it this Santa, is it that Santa? I'm like, I know this is really gross and disgusting, but, I mean, there's a smart element.
I'm pretty sure that's like a plot of a horror movie, in all honesty. But again, we have like cuts of Tim Allen doing stupid dances, so you're like, I guess I'm not afraid. I don't know how to feel.
Cuts of stupid dances, and then like electronics where they're like, Dad, so Judy put in a hot chocolate machine. Look, I pressed the button, and you can get like hot chocolate.
What is your job, ma'am? Because you wear a weird princess hat, and I don't understand. Are you just a hot chocolate lady? Because what the fuck?
I don't know.
Okay, so Bridge, we're getting close. All right, so let's talk about it again. The police arrest Tim Allen as Santa. And again, you're like, all right, we're almost there. Now he's arrested.
God.
We gotta rescue Santa. But then, before we even get to that point, they decided to snip in a scene of the police dragging Tim Allen out to the public street. For some reason, there's a huge crowd of children, and they start crying, and they're like, dude, don't arrest Santa! And that's where I was like, what am I right now? Am I sad? Because I think I'm sad, but I'm not sure I'm supposed to be, because I don't fucking know. And there's about to be a little elf superheroes in the next scene, so what am I doing? What do I do?
This is where the elves are still just scattered around the town, just hanging out with their little elf ears, and
they're not helping.
I don't know.
They're enabling.
They're just watching.
It's not good.
But I gotta tell you, this lead elf, the Captain America, Captain North Pole,
I cannot.
What is his acting career? What happened to him? Because he said, listen, you guys need a 2 from me, I'm gonna bring you a 200. And he doubled down, Kate.
Yeah. I wrote, this elf kid is definitely going through puberty right now because he knows how to be serious.
Oh my god! Literally, he was like, it's go time. And they put on jetpacks and they fly out of the North Pole doing somersaults.
It's amazing, honestly.
And then
I would watch a Disney Plus series about these 4 elf jetpack
Oh my
guys.
god. Literally, it's like the Lost Boys meet Christmas.
Oh my god.
And they go crazy. They're on the roof. They're getting Charlie. Because Charlie's just like left, basically.
He's like sitting on the roof, which I'm like, Charlie, you might die.
Oh my god. And they are like, we're gonna break out your dad. And then he's like, what? How? And he's like, piece of cake. I got tinsel.
I cannot.
I just was like, Bobsy.
And then he goes, don't ever try this without elf supervision. And I was like, sir, who wrote that line? What?
Wait, I wrote down.
Do you know what he says when he gets to the cop?
Oh, no, go for it, because I want to talk about something else.
Well, they get to, like, the station to bust him out, and they just kind of stand there, and the cop's like, children? What are you... Like, he doesn't question it, just fucking jetpacks, number one, so that's great policing. And they're like, we're here to get Santa, and then he's like, go home, children, it's Christmas Eve. And then he's like, who are you? And that elf kid goes, were your worst nightmare. Elves with attitude. And I was like, what the fuck again? How am I? So am I afraid? Am I excited? I don't know the emotion.
And then Home Alone style, they wrap him up in ribbon.
It's so stupid. And then the fucking tinsel bridge. I can't.
Okay, so the only thing I wanted to say is like all the way in the beginning, the acronym where they're like, time to deploy EFLS, which stands for, because I wrote this down from the sign, effective liberating flight squad.
Squad? That's the last part? Wow. I like the liberating. I don't know about all the others.
What in the world?
I mean, they were effective, I suppose.
Oh my god. They get to the jail. Tim Allen's like, hot damn, hey, Charlie, hey, elves. And they just take what is easily the most breakable Christmas element ever. And they just put it through the jail lock. And then, don't worry, the jail door isn't heavy because the 4'0" kid just like picks it up like it's foam and puts it in the corner.
Because it probably is foam. So here we are.
My god, that scene. I'm sorry, but like they had to have people fighting to cut it. And then they had to have people fighting to keep it. And those two people equal what are complete opposites in the world.
Yep. Honestly, it would have been fine if they stayed the rest of the time. But then I guess they fly away in their jetpacks. I don't fucking know. We never see them again. They're off.
They're gone. They did it. They did their job. They fly home, and then Tim Allen's back at it.
Well, Tim Allen then drops Charlie back off at the house, and now for some reason there's no police, and that was weird. And then he's like, hey, Mom. Hey, Neil. I'm here. Hooray. And then, okay, this was another Bob moment.
Whew, so many.
Okay, so Tim Allen's like, all right, Charlie, it was fun. We traumatized Mom and Neil. That was a good time. We'll remember it and treasure it in our hearts forever. But I gotta let you stay here, you know. They cried too much and it was weird. We did dances while they were crying. I just don't think we should
legally,
do it.
I actually can't be with you right now.
Legally, we broken many laws. So then, for whatever reason, there's this really weird tone shift. And I don't know if it was drunk Christmas or what was going on, but the mom, like, gets really serious, even though nothing is said. And she goes, oh my God, it's you, Santa. And I was like, wait, did he, why is it Santa now? Why now is it Magic Santa? And then Neil has an even worse weird reaction where he walks up really close to him and he stares at him and then he goes, Santa? And he says like a baby. I don't fucking know what was happening.
Katie has gotten so close to the camera.
I am Neil.
It is amazing.
I don't even know. It
was
a lot. And then the mom goes, here's your Christmas gift, Tim Allen. I'm gonna set these custody papers on fire. Legally, they're still in place and the law is the law, but now they're on fire.
But for dramatic flair,
I don't even know.
This is another quote from you. This was acting whiplash because it was like, I hate you. Oh, you're a great dad. Oh, I hate you. Stop being Santa. I'm gonna legally make sure you never see your kid again. Santa?
It hurt my neck. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. But then we do literally like a victory lap around the house with the weird crowd that's still out there.
Why aren't they in their homes in the warmth?
He's just like waving, and he's just kind of going around and Comet's laughing his ass off. He's like, I'm gonna do another one, you know, he just keeps going. I don't even know. He takes his bag, he flies, and I'm just like, dude, this movie needs to end. I'm over it. Like, it is what it is.
This definitely had, like, a second ending, because it could have ended at that part where he's like, okay, bye, now I'm gonna go do Santa, and he gives Neil and the mom gifts about these childhood things that they talked about, whatever. And then Charlie's like, hooray, my Christmas wish came true. I don't know what it was, but it came true. And then Neil goes, Charlie, I'm sorry I didn't believe you, which I was like, fuck yeah, Neil, that's right. You do apologize to kids if you are incorrect to them. Good job.
I thought that was nice of Neil.
And then he goes, Charlie, you'll be a great psychiatrist one day. And then Charlie goes, no, I want to go into the family business. And then he looks up at Santa, and then I go, are you going to kill your dad later in life to become Santa?
All of a sudden, it's the only son. What is
good son.
the good son?
He's gonna push him off a cliff. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Listen, with Christmas drunk, you never know how it'll end.
There was enough trauma, I believe it. And, but no, that's not the ending. Then we have an Inception snow globe where our snow globe brings us our father, who is Santa. And then literally, even though he was missing for 10 minutes, and then he comes back and sees Charlie, then he goes, Charlie, you want to come on the sleigh with me? And I was like, you just said he should hang here, and now you're bringing him on the sleigh. And I don't know why we did it. And then that's
my God. The movie could have ended like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Which was literally the first 20 minutes where like he becomes Santa and it's really fun. And then like him turning into Santa needed to be like a quick 2-minute montage.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we didn't need all of this. There was so many freaking parts. And this movie wasn't even that long. It just felt long.
It was like an hour and a half. Oh, yeah, well.
We did it, Kate.
We did it.
But, okay, but I liked it.
I liked it too.
Now that I'm talking about it, we're like shitting on it, but I like really liked it. Like I thought it was very Christmassy and
it is Christmassy.
And light and silly. And Tim Allen's like, just know he's the worst, but who cares? And it's fun.
I think it's fun because if you're not like sitting intensely watching it, it's just like kind of on and it's Christmas or you're watching it with people. Like it is fun. It's going to put you in the spirit. And I would recommend, if you have not seen it, to watch it. So I would label this a watch for sure.
Watch it. Watch it, background. It could be a group watch. Don't take it too serious.
Now, there are sequels to Santa Claus, and I don't think they're good.
Oh.
I've never seen them.
Knew that. Oh.
Yeah, there were a couple. Martin Short is like in one.
Oh.
Ooh. But like later in his career, Martin Short, not like Father of the Bride Martin Short.
Wow.
So anyway, so yeah, just stick with the first one, I think. You'll be good.
I don't know, Kate. I want to see the Christmas Story where you just go around giving presents to dogs.
I'll fucking do that this year. I'll do that right now.
Okay, we just need Christmas magic. Does anyone know where to get tinsel?
Hello? Tinsel. I gotta bust someone out of jail, so I need some of that shit. I'm gonna go to the pound and bust all the dogs out with tinsel.
Boy,
All right, listeners. So, Katie made a mistake. And I was a really bad best friend and realized that we did not shout out this movie for one of my best friends who did do an official listener pick that we all forgot about, which is my fault. But this movie was actually suggested by my best friend, Mel. And Mel is here right now because we're trying to make amends for the mistake. Say hello, Mel.
I feel as bad as Comet did in the scene where Scott Calvin yells. Anyway, hi!
Okay, we are ready to go with the fire. Listeners, you guys, if you are a fan of Sisters Who've Seen It, you should recognize Mel's voice because I have featured her on the show a couple of times. You gave us a quote for Scream. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I feel like there was something else that I can't remember.
Well, you have mentioned me in a few embarrassing stories on this podcast.
Okay, but they haven't been like the extra embarrassing ones.
You're right. I thought maybe in Lord of the Rings episode that you would mention how I had a ring around my neck on like a necklace, but like, thank you for, now I just did that.
I feel like I did that at some point too. Definitely in 7th grade. I mean, let's be honest. All right, so Mel is here and she is going to give us a quote for the movie Santa Claus. And Mel, why did you want to recommend the Santa Claus for our show?
It's the greatest Christmas movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a big that's kind of a big sentence.
I like it. It's good.
It's my favorite Christmas movie. I think it's because it's like Disney, but it's also not like, even the music wasn't cheesy. Like I watched the second one yesterday.
Oh no.
It's terrifying. But
there's a third one too. Did you ever see the third one?
I did. Jack Frost taking over.
I hate it. I don't like it. Didn't ask for it.
So the first one's the greatest, and I don't think they should have done anything else. Scott Calvin's character is great when he transitions into the Santa Claus. Superb. And as a child of divorce, I could tell you that what a realistic but also Disney 90s viewpoint on divorced parents, co-parenting. I will say, out of all of my DNDs, for all of you listening, divorced 90s dads, my favorite of them is Tim Allen as Scott Calvin.
Okay, now I did think about if there was a connection with the divorce, because I obviously know that about you. We've been best friends for
years and years. However, you did also share something with me that's making me a little nervous and sweaty now. And it's, well, I don't even know how to say it. And I'm sorry, I just said I wasn't going to share embarrassing stuff. But I don't know if this counts as embarrassing or if you're going to stick by your guns. But do you want to share with the listeners what you told me about Tim Allen? Because
yeah, he's a DILF, 100%.
Boy. Okay, but like, is it? I don't know if I got this answer yet from you. Is it just Tim Allen in this movie we feel this way about Tim Allen, or is it like all Tim Allens all the Tim Allen time?
I mean, I think it'd be a little weird if I thought Tim Allen was hot as Buzz Lightyear, which is incorrect. I don't.
Honestly,
that's
Buzz is like kind of, he's got a cool chin, but
he's got okay. Wow.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
Tim Allen, I think in general in the 90s, like Home Improvement, that weird noise he makes, and
that was it. Yeah.
He's also a D&D in Jungle to Jungle, which is another forgotten movie.
That's a great reference, Jungle to Jungle.
Yeah. Well, the 90s were really big about divorce. We got Mrs. Doubtfire. We got Jingle All the Way is not, I'm sorry, he's not divorced.
It's not, but like it should have been, but they didn't want to go that
portraying
direction.
It. Like, I'm a successful man and my family, who's my second priority, is upset with me because they can afford to live this lifestyle because I'm a working man. And it's like, okay, we get it. Like, that's enough out of y'all. But also, it's like, one thing I was wondering is, I forget his ex-wife's name in the Santa Claus right now.
Oh, it's, oh, Jesus, I just watched it. Oh,
Clara? Like,
she has the Pulp Fiction haircut, you know.
She does. You know what it is? She's Sally Field's freaking like stunt double, and I'm over it. Like,
I thought you were gonna just drop some insane fun fact about Sally Field, and I was on the edge of my seat, and nope, it was just a joke. Damn it!
She looks just like Sally Field and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Kind of does, right?
Like,
moms have short hair.
Mom. Oh, like I care about my child, and it's like, all right, enough. But he marries Neil, who's a freaking therapist, and has that huge house. And I'm like, how long have you guys been divorced? Because Charlie, don't get me started on this little, can I curse?
Coconut haircut. You can curse. We've given up on the bleeping, so just let loose.
I don't know if this is allowed, but he's a little twat. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, that's the T word. I would have bleeped that if I had the motivation. He's annoying. He is.
My least favorite quote from him is, "You never do anything I want to do," and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, Charlie. Have you normally presented that you want your dad to become Santa Claus and go around to the North Pole? And he said no multiple times. Like, what a freaking little pisser! Like,
I believe the line he says is like, "How come everything I want to do is stupid?" And I feel like Tim Allen should have been like, "Because you're stupid, and so is your bowl cut. God damn it! Why don't you go back to Pen 15? God."
I think you're 7 and you're an idiot.
I think you're 7 and you're an idiot. He is an idiot.
Another, if you really think that thinking that Tim Allen is mucho attractive in this movie, then there's something else you should probably know as well. And I feel like you already know what I'm going to say.
Is it, he's a 90s divorced icon? What?
No. Well, that's true. But no, in the Santa Claus, the movie, if you did not have a crush on Bernard.
Mel, I was going to ask about it. I feel I've heard this from many women. Like, this is a thing. Like, people are like, damn, Bernard. And I'm like, is it because he's the only teenager elf? Because why is he like 18 and everyone else is like 12? How did he get his job? And why is
he's
he
the
old?
Head elf?
Yeah, but like, he's like old. But we love Bernard. So yes. Well, I feel like you had a lot of the same opinions about this movie than I did, minus me wanting to have sex with Tim Allen. But
whoa, I didn't say that.
Sorry for it's a little too presumptuous of me. Okay.
Yeah, but I would also say my favorite thing that Charlie says is when Neil is being a little. First of all, you can't psychoanalyze your stepson. I feel like that's very unethical.
Awkward. It's awkward.
Oh, Neil and his sweaters. But Charlie, he's talking to Charlie about Santa Claus and like essentially trying to prove to Charlie that it's not real or whatever. So Charlie says to him, "Have you ever seen $1 million?" And Neil goes, "No." And he goes, "Just because you've never seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist." And I was like, wow, that's the smartest and only tolerable thing you have said in this whole happy.
Also, that same exact line was from the iconic movie It Takes Two. And I forget what the context was in that movie, but they definitely reference the $1 million and never seeing it, something.
Wait, did you guys do It Takes Two yet? Because I
Oh my
feel
God,
like
not
that's my
yet.
next recommendation.
Oh my God, not yet. That would be like a perfect summer movie. Unfortunately, I will have a lot of unkind things to say about Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley.
And about Steve
the
Gutenberg.
Dad?
Yeah, they grew up to be some heavy boomers, which is sad. But the Olsen twins are cool, so yes, that will definitely need to be a movie we do. But anyway, that's that. Well, Mel, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me about your undying love for the Santa Claus.
No problem. I love you as much as Neil loves his weenie whistle.
Oh my fucking God. I love you as much as Charlie and his mom love getting haircuts with balls on them. So that's a lot. Listeners, if you would like one day for Mel Lewis to be a full-on guest for an entire episode, which that's a big commitment, but if you would like to hear that, then give us a review or something, or send us an email and I'll get her on here.
I love that.
I love you.
I love Bridget. I love everybody.
That was a great time. All right.
Papa Gijo. Okay.
Well, should we just keep going with Christmas, or what month is it? What episode is it? I don't know, Kate. No.
So it's my turn to pick, and we are done with December. So we are moving on to a new year. Ew, 2022. That's so weird.
I like it. Let's do this. 2022,
well,
baby.
I have a pick for you. It's... Oh boy, how am I gonna describe this? So different genre. There is certainly no Christmas magic.
Oh, goodbye Christmas magic.
Or any magic.
Goodbye magic.
Or even smiles, perhaps. No, there's some smiles.
Oh, there's no smiles?
Okay, so Bridge, actually, here's what I'll do. Here's how I'm gonna tell you about this. So I'm gonna give you the year and the genre and the rating. This is a movie from 2002.
Oh.
It is rated R.
Oh.
It is classified as a drama and drama music. Music is not a genre. Okay, whatever. Drama. It's mainly a drama, but there is music elements. So here's a story that's going to tell you what this is. Listeners, every year for the past couple years, Bridget and I, we do not live together, but we will live text each other during the Oscars. Because we, like to watch it and it's fun and whatever. So there was one year, it might have been like 2 years ago maybe, where the Oscars, as they do, they were doing a lot of montages and sometimes they'll do performances. And they were doing a montage of like famous songs from movies throughout the years. And it was kind of a mix, whatever. And you and I were texting and we were like, oh my God, imagine if they started doing this song and then they started doing the famous song from this movie and we started freaking the fuck out and we were like, oh my God, imagine if this person comes out. And then they did and we literally screamed, and I have a screenshot of that text somewhere. This is a very highly rated movie. I believe this did win some Oscars. This is actually starring a person who is not an actor, but they did a pretty good job in this movie, and it is somewhat, I think, biographical. So it is a young rapper struggling with every aspect of his life. He wants to make it big, but his friends and foes make this odyssey of rap harder than it may seem. This is the 2002 movie 8 Mile.
Yes! You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it.
And we were like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we were like, imagine if Eminem comes out right now. And then literally Eminem appeared on the stage. We were like, ah!
I'm just gonna tell you, the balls on you to go from the Santa Claus to 8 Mile. Oops. I mean, what a transition, folks.
I think my brain was like, let's do a different genre, but also someplace where it's a little Chile. And aren't they in where are they, Detroit or something absurd?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's cold and we all wear jackets and hats, so
wow.
I don't know, January, winter.
His name is Rabbit. I don't even know, Kate, but listen, he's still doing his thing in 2002? I mean, 20 years later? Like...
And this has Brittany Murphy. Rest in peace.
Brittany.
I know.
Wow, that is wild to me that that's considered nostalgic, even though I know it totally is.
Like, I mean, it's like 19 years ago. Almost 20 years ago this came out. It's crazy.
Mom spaghetti and my sweater and
Knees
my
weak,
arms
are heavy, Mom's sweater already. Mom spaghetti. Nervous. Looks calm and ready. I'm just going to say right now, I would like to apologize in advance because there will be a lot of Scary Movie 3 references. It cannot be avoided, listeners. What do you want from me, all right?
Oh my God.
I can't let it go. So just be mentally prepared for that as we, review this next week. But yes, woo!
Wow. I don't even know how to transition back to Santa Claus and Tim Allen. Like, we went to a time warp. Like, you talk about Christmas drunk. This is definitely how you end with, like, the hangover the next morning where someone's like, do you want to watch 8 Mile? And you're like, sure. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I'm hungover.
Well, Bridge?
Yeah?
I just want to say, if we were having a sleepover and it was Christmas Eve and we heard such a clatter and we went outside and it was Tim Allen and he started making just lame jokes, I probably would say, hey, and then he would fall and die, and I would make sure to cover up that murder so neither of us were incarcerated. And then we could be Santa Clauses. That's what I do for you.
Wow, Kate, really?
Yeah.
Got rid of bad comedy and we get to be Santa Clauses together?
Yeah, for the Dojies.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, Kate.
Bridge?
If you just so happen to gain 45 pounds in 1 week.
Wow.
You get a white beard, white hair. You can only wear sweatshirt and sweatpants, and you come to a meeting, and they're ordering lunch. I'm going to make sure that there is a stack full of cookies ready to go for you with a side of milk and anything else you want. And if someone has the audacity to fat shame you, I will, like Oren Ishii, jump on that board and shove their head off. True listeners could follow that. If you could follow that, you're a true listener, and write in the reviews because that was like a mind fuck right there.
Wow, that was amazing. Oh, and listeners, if you also like to listen to every single one of our episodes, you know what the fuck we're talking about in our references. And if you think cookies are good to eat at any time of any day, and if you would not feel too bad about killing Tim Allen off the roof to be a dog Santa, whoa, I'm sober right now. You should write us a review. Woo! We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. If you scroll down on the main page, there's a form you can fill out to request a movie. So guess what, y'all? We're going into January, so there's not too much of a theme in January, and if there becomes one, I haven't thought of it yet. So get your movie requests in there, and we will do them at some point. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy us coffee.
Woo!
But I'm thinking they could buy a theme because you're right. I think you did start themes in like January and February of last year.
I definitely did one in March.
Oh.
That was like a musical. And I don't remember what February or the other one was.
I don't either, but if somebody wants to put up the bucks
we can make up whatever.
This is the theme, you could buy that. And I'm like, done, sir, or ma'am, or whoever.
Yes.
But I just want you to know that the money goes to a good cause, which is our hearts.
It goes to our hearts.
It goes to our hearts. And if you want us to, make a movie where Katie is just Santa Claus for dogs.
We're going to crowdfund that, definitely.
I think we just need a little bit of time because then we got to quit our jobs and it's just a piece of cake. So give us that shmoney, alright?
Yeah!
Now Woo! I think I'm Eminem. There we go.
Alright, well, we'll see y'all next week for 8 Mile.
You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it.
Never let go.
You only got one shot.
Not chip blow. I'm literally just gonna keep thinking of Scary Movie 3. I'm so sorry. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I love you.
Oh my god. I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love you.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.